everyone. I am Dr. Zara, a licensed psychologist, and welcome back to the Dream Psychology series. In this video, we all continue chapter 3, part 2, where the dreams disguise the desire. In the previous part, we explore why dreams hide our deepest wishes instead of revealing them directly. Now, let's get started. Whilst the procedure in which we recognize our normal ego responses upon the desire for sleep, it appears compelled by the psychological condition of sleep to abandon some of the energy which with it was want during the day to keep down that was repressed. This neglect is really harmless, however much the emotions of the child's spirit may be stirred. They find the approach to consciousness rendered difficult and that movement blocked in consequence of the state of sleep. The danger of their disturbing sleep must, however, be avoided. Moreover, we must admit it that even in deep sleep, some amount of free attention is exerted as a protection against sense stimuli which might perhaps make an awakening some wiser than the continuance of sleep. Otherwise, we should not explain the fact of our being always awakened by stimuli of certain quality. As the old psychologist Burdett point out, the mother is awakened by a whimpering of the child, the miller by the cessations of his meals, most people by gently calling out their names. This attention, thus on the alert, make use the internal stimuli arising for repressed desire and fuses them into the dream, which is a compression satisfies both producers at the same time. The dream creates a form of psychical release for the wish which is either repressed or formed by the aid of repression. Inasmuch is represent as is realized, the other procedure is also satisfied. Since the continue of the sleep is assured, our ego her gladly behaves like a child. It makes the dream pictures believable, saying at it, "Work, quit night, dream pictures, but let me sleep." The concept which once awakened, we bear the dream and which resets upon the absurdity and apparent illogically of the dream is probably nothing but the reason is our sleep ego on the feeling about what was represented. With greater regret, it should rest upon it incompetency of disturber of our sleep. In sleep, we are now and then aware of this contempt, the dream consciousness tendencies of consciousship rather too much. We think it's only a dream and sleep on. It is no objection to this view if there are borderlines from the dream where it functions. To preserve sleep, interpretation can no longer maintained as in the dream of impending dread. It is here changed for another function to suspend the sleep at the proper time. It's act like constitutional night watchman who first does his duty by quelling disturbance, so as not to awaken the citizen, but equally does his duty quite properly when he awakes the street should the cause of the trouble seems to him serious and himself unable to cope with them alone. This function of dreams becomes specially well marked when their arise some intensity or the scene perception that the scene aroused during sleep influence the dream is well known and can be experimentally verified. It is one of the certain but much overestimated result of being an insoluble riddle connected with this discovery. The stimuli to the sense by which the investigator affects the intermingled with a number of identified interpretation whose determination appears left to psychical free will. There is, of course, no much psychical free will to an external sensation stimuli. The sleeper can react in many ways. He awakens or he succeeds in sleeping on. In the latter, he can make use of the dream to dismiss the external stimulus. Whoever has firmly accepted this consorship as the chief motive for the distortion of dream will not be surprised to learn as the result of dream interpretation that most the dream of adults are traced by analysis to erotic desire. The assertion is not drawn from dreams, obviously of a sexual nature, which are now to all the dreamer from their own experience, and or the only one stream from their own experience, usually described as sexual dreams. These dreams are over significantly mysterious by reason of the choice person for are made the object of sex, the norm removal of all the barrier which cry held to the dreamer sexual needs in his waking state, the many strange reminder as the details of what are called previousness, but analysis discovered that in many other streams in host manifest content, nothing erotic can be found. The work of interpretation show them up as in reality realization of sexual desires whilst on the other hand that much of the thought making when awake. The thought save us as surplus from the day only reach presentation in dreams with the help of repressed erotic desire. Towards the explanation of this statement, which is no theoretical postulate, it must be remembered that no other class or instructing has required so vast and supersession add by the behest of civilization as the sexual, whilst their mastery by the highest psychical process are the most persons honest of all relinquished, since we have learned to understand infiltrate sexuality often so vague in its expression, so invariably overlooked and misunderstood, we are justified in saying that nearly every civilized person has retained at some point or other the infantile type of sex life. If the dream, which is the expression of some erotic desire, succeeds in making in manifest content appear incorrectly asexual, it is only possible in one way. The matter of these sexual presentation cannot be exhibited as such, must be replaced by allusion, suggestion, and similar indirect means. Differing from other case of indirect representation, those used in dream must be deprived of direct understanding. The mean of presentation which answer these requirements are commonly termed symbols. A special interest has been directed towards the scenes, since has been observed that the dreamer of the same language use the like symbols, indeed that the certain case community of symbol in greater than community of speech, since the dreamer do not themselves know the meaning of the symbols they use, it remains a puzzle whence arise the relationship which what the replace and denote. There are symbols of universal circulations found in all dreamers of one range of speech and culture. There are others of the narrowest individual significance which an individual has built up out of his own material. In the first class, those can be differentiated whose claim can be at once recognized by the replacement of sexual thing in common speech. Thoughts for intents arising from agriculture and reproduction seed. From the other whose sexual reference appear to reach back from the earliest time and to the obscure depth of image build. The power of building symbols in both these special from the symbol has not died out. Recently discovered things like the air shape are the ones brought into universal use sex symbols. It would be quite an error to suppose that a profounder knowledge of dream symbolism, the language of dreams, would make us independent of questioning the dreamer regarding his impression about the dream, and would give us back the whole technique of ancient dream interpreters. Apart from individual symbols, the variations of the use of what is general. Never knows whether an animal in the dream is to be understood symbolically in its proper meaning. The whole content of the dream is certainly not to be interpreted symbolically. The knowledge of dream symbol will only help in understanding portion of the dream content and does not render for the use of technical rules previously given at all superfluous, but it must be of the greatest service in interpreting a dream just when the impression of the dreamer are withheld or are significant. Dream symbolism proves also indispensable of understanding the so-called typical dreams and the dreams that repeated themselves. Dream symbolism leads us far beyond the dream. It does not belong only to dream, but is likewise dominant in legend, myth, and saga, in wit and in folklore. It compels us to pursue the inner meaning of the dream in the reproduction. But we must acknowledge that symbolism is not a result of dream work, but a peculiarity probably of our unconscious thinking, which furnishes of the dream works the matter of condensation, displacement, and determination. I hope you enjoy this exploration, gain a deeper insight into Sigmund Freud's fascinating theory of dream. If you found this video valuable, please give a thumb up, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss the next chapter of the dream psychology.